Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, The Crypto Siege, with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. What's going on, guys? Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm not going to say that I just wanted to hop on here and do a quick video, because when I said that the other day, someone said, yeah, 20 minutes, that's not a quick video. So I'm not going to say that this time. But I am excited to talk with you guys this morning about XRP and what's going on with the company, with the phenomena, with the I don't even, amoeba maybe, can't even put words what Ripple, the company, is doing. It is absolutely mind-blowing, guys, what they're doing. So I watched, I hope you guys caught that. If you haven't, go to the Ripple YouTube channel, check out this video. It was a little conversation between Michelle Bond and Monica Long, I believe her name is. Yes, Monica Long. Michelle Bond. Yep, Michelle Bond and Monica Long. Now, Michelle Bond is the lady at Ripple. Background is an attorney. What she does for Ripple now is she's in head of regulatory global work for Ripple. So monetary regulatory global work for Ripple. So she's the one out there in the marketplace, meeting with governments, talking about regulation and how to put regulations in places, how to put it in place for different countries, worldwide, globally. When you listen to her talk, she is so excited. In her background, she worked for the U.S. Banking Committee and with the SEC. Banking. So her background is massive. And the fact that she decided to come on board with Ripple is so telling. It's unbelievable. And she gets giddy about the opportunity to work with Ripple. And I'm telling you, when you see an attorney get excited about something, that's huge. Yeah, like that's huge. A lot of great information there in that conversation between Michelle Bond and Monica Long. But I think the biggest thing to get was the fact that they're working with 50 governments. Why would they be working to set up regulatory governance or compliance, if you will, and regulations with 50 governments? You guys get that? Governments. The genius in what they're doing and sending people like her and Ashish Burler and Dilip Rao and whoever they might have out into the marketplace is they're making themselves, what's the word? They're bringing awareness to themselves as a company, and they're going out and providing a service hands-on with these different governments to help them better understand the overall digital asset space. So how do you think these governments are going to look at Ripple, the company? Unfavorably or favorably? You get that? What other digital asset has a company like Ripple backing it, doing that kind of work? Like, you get that? What, like Ripple, like she's a paid employee, right? Michelle Bond, right? What other company is using their resources to do a thing like that? 50 governments. And what other company has someone like Michelle Bond with her history, her resume, her background? Like, it's unbelievable. I'm sitting there looking, and I'm checking her posture, Michelle Bond's posture. I'm checking her, her eyes, and when she smiles, when she doesn't smile. And I'm telling you guys, this lady is she felt like she's in a dream. You know, like she's just walking around in a happy dream that's never going to end. You should see her. You know, you should check out the people at Ripple and see how confident they are. Whether it be Brad Garlinghouse, or Monica Long, or Sheesh Burla, or Dilla Brow. You should just kind of check that out. That's really the telltale signs. But guys, I hope you get a chance to check that out and just pay attention to her body language and the words she's using and how she's smiling. She's excited about the work that she's doing because she knows that Ripple is setting the ground. They're setting the foundation for the entire world. For the entire world when it comes to regulation. Ripple is doing it. Ripple is doing it. That's why I always keep saying, when it comes time for Ripple the company to be mentioned and XRP the digital asset to be mentioned, that person is going to have a laundry list of all of these positive action steps that Ripple is doing. How Ripple, the company, is contributing to this whole ecosystem that is the digital asset space. You know what I mean? When they're being interviewed on CNBC, they'll have a laundry list of things to say positive about Ripple, the company. And the catchphrase is going to be, you know, Ripple has been regulatory compliant from day one. That's Congress people are gonna start saying it. You understand what I'm saying? They'll have it's a laundry list. They won't have to worry about putting their name behind some company that's not KYC and AML and CFT and everything else that needs to be compliant. They won't have to worry about putting their name behind the company Ripple. Guys, 50 governments? Governments. Did you understand what I'm saying? Around the world, 50 of them. Absolutely unbelievable. That interview. I hope you guys get a chance to check that out. And I want to do this now before I forget, but a major shout out to Mickey B. Fresh, Brad Kimes, for the stream they did last night. I couldn't catch it live. I actually caught it this morning. And caught most of it this morning. And guys, I tell you, Mickey B. Fresh has a way of breaking things down that is awesome. And then you throw in Brad Kimes, he's able to put perspective and kind of give you the big perspective. I call it the long game perspective on things. That is so important. You know, that long game perspective, and for all of us, because it's important to understand that. And so, you know, I'm in complete agreement. A number of times I've said, I agree with you, Brad, 1,000%, because I believe ultimately that is it. What he's saying about how the Federal Reserve is going to use the CDP that Kava Labs and Cosmos are putting together. Kava Labs is doing it. They're going to do it on the Cosmos network. I agree with that 1,000%. I see that happening. Even if it's 4 or 5 years from now, I still see that happening. And it doesn't matter because Ripple still has their lane that they're in. And in terms of settlement and remittances and that type of stuff, and providing cross-border payments and reducing the friction in that market. But the powers that be know. They know that the asset XRP is in fact just that. It's an asset to be used in so many different ways. That IOP that Ripple created and gifted it to the W3C, I believe, is who they gifted it to, is out of this world. It's interoperability, these IOP connectors that they talk about, is going to be the thing Ripple has created. Ripple has created the thing that is like the internet. Ripple has created. They've created the protocol. They created this asset. They've created interoperability. Ripple has done that. No other. And Ripple was smart enough to have a CEO and a corporate office and people to go out into the marketplace. They have a vice president of marketing, right? That's That is Monica Long, right? There's genius in what they're doing, because not only are they going to be a successful company, they've created this thing that is going to be leveraged around the world. Around the world. Never forget, there was a person or persons who created the internet, right? Not the government. The government didn't do it. You know, this www thing, that's a dude or a girl or a lady, right? Right? Someone created it. You get it? You know, this old HTTP thing was created, right? And so Ripple has done the same thing. But it's more significant because it's around finances. And so Kava Labs and Cosmos and what they're doing, guys, if you haven't watched that interview with Brad Kimes, you definitely want to check that out so that you understand the bigger picture. And it's going to be massive, because in the end, I just believe that Ripple, the company, is has created this asset that can be used in so many different ways, and they're smart enough, Ripple, the company, is smart enough to use their resources to put together things like Xpring, to create more use cases for this digital asset. And they're smart enough to tap into universities and set up these kind of work group with universities to find other smart people who can perhaps think of something that Stefan Thomas and Joel Katz, David Schwartz have not thought about yet. You get that? That's genius. You could say Ethereum has all these developers all you want. You could talk that all you want, and I get it. Ethereum's going to be great. But no one is doing the work that Ripple, the company, is doing. This Kava Lab things, I've always said it, the global economy is run on debt. It's always going to be there. And what Kava is doing with this collateralized debt positions is going to be massive. And the great thing about it is you and I will be able to participate if we want to. But you trust and believe that governments will use it once they get it. Once they get it. Because listen, the fiat world is going to crash. It may recover to some extent, but it's going to crash, and it's going to have to be a place to go to. That's going to be the digital asset space. And the digital asset space does nothing for global economies unless it can be leveraged by debt. If it can't be leveraged by debt, governments, central banks are not interested. They're not interested. They want to be able to leverage the debt. And that's what Kava Labs is doing. It's going to be massive in a lot of ways. And it's all wrapped around XRP. XRP is going to be one of the digital assets in the collateral CDP space. You know, it'll probably be Bitcoin, and I think they mentioned 4 already. XRP, Bitcoin, I think the Kava token, and the Kava token maybe, and for governance, Cosmos token, and I believe BNB is going to be in there as well. So if I listen to that correctly, interesting thing that BNB is going to be in there. Interesting relationship, I think, with CZ Binance and Ripple, the company. I think that, you know, like they're aligned in their thoughts and creating a decentralized world. And CZ, you know, I've never met the guy. Seems like a good guy. So I thought it was really interesting that they decided that the BNB was going to be one of them. I thought that was really, really interesting. So yeah, so exciting times for XRP holders, especially exciting times for those of us in the digital asset space. Guys, if you haven't checked it out, definitely go to Ripple YouTube channel, watch that interview between Monica Long and Michelle Bond. Absolutely worth the watch, worth the listen to. Check out her body language and see how giddy, how she's smiling. Again, trust me when I say this, I love attorneys, but when you get an attorney smiling and excited, using words like exciting and thrilling to be doing this kind of work, it's a big, big deal. Trust me. You don't go from working, in some way, shape, form, or fashion with the SEC to getting in the private sector and take on that kind of work and be excited about it. It's more than just a pay. It's something big going on there. And so we're in a blessed spot. 50 governments, guys. Think about what that means for us as XRP holders. I just think about what that means. That means that these governments around the world are becoming more familiar with what the digital asset XRP and the ILP can do. You understand that? Because they don't know. They have no clue. Ripple is going out and educating, right? Educating, the world, 50 governments on what's possible for them. And I always say this: if you and I know about what the greatest digital asset XRP can do and the ILP, and we know about Kava and Cosmos, they know. And the genius with Ripple is they're making sure, right? They're making sure that these 50 governments know what is available to them if they choose to participate. They're laying out the options for them, and that is genius. And again, I'll say it again: there is no digital asset out there that has a company behind it like Ripple putting in the legwork that like Ripple is doing. It doesn't exist. Ripple has the resources, they have the personnel, they got all kind of geniuses working over there, putting in the legwork. It's funny because they all look, you see these interviews and whatever, you watch, they seem like kind of, like happy. They all seem happy. It seems like a good working environment, doesn't it? It really, really does. Really, really does. And I just, I believe Ripple, the company, is going to be that next Google. 100%. I wish I could tap into that somehow in terms of, I don't know, stock or something. I don't know. I wish I could tap into that Ripple company somehow. It's a private company now, as far as I know. So I guess once we get up into that, I don't know if they're ever going to need funding, though. I was thinking maybe once we become these, big time accredited investors, that perhaps then you could do something with it. But we'll have to see. We'll have to find maybe some other projects that Ripple is attached to and, invest there, because, it's going to be one of those golden things, right? I have a business partner, this dude, that's like every single thing he's done, it's turned to gold. Everything he lays his hands on turns to gold. And I think Ripple, the company, is that same thing, and so, once things begin to pop, and I believe Mickey B and Brad Kime said this as well, it's not going to be this, I don't know if I said it in another video. I'm not a big fan. I said it in a video. I'm not aligned with Galvatron in this slow and steady thing. I don't agree with that. And I believe that if that was the case, that would have been happening over this last year. And like Mickey B. Fresh for this last year and a half said, and that hasn't happened. I believe that when it pops, it's going to pop because it has to. And I think I don't know if I tweeted that out. I might have tweeted that out. I might have commented on one of Brad Kime's videos. That's what I did on one of his streams. I said that they needed to be high, and because the powers that be, needed to be high, it's going to get there. It's going to get there. And I don't know what that price is going to look like. I have no idea when, but when it needs to get there, it's going to get there. 2023 and 2024 that's an interesting thing. I know a lot of XRP holders perhaps can't wait till then. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm very curious to see what XRP is going to do during this bull run, because it's coming. It's coming late September, early October. The bull run's coming. It's like zero question. The bull run is going to come this year. And I'm very curious to see how XRP is going to be, how it's going to play. I'm really, really curious about that. Very, very curious, because I know right now in terms of price, it's we all know they're definitely they definitely got their systems in place that keep that price the way it is. That's without question, without question. So that's to make all the power, the market makers and liquidity providers, and it's set up that price to stay in that 30% range for a reason. Maybe they're fine-tuning stuff. I don't know, but it's for a reason. But when it's ready to pop, it's going to pop. Alex Cobb the other day said 30 banks are on X Rapid Live. 30 banks on. It's turned on. 30 banks. So again, it's got to scale up in terms of the volume on the XRPL. They can't put 20 trillion on it today and have it work, right? They gotta test it, right? Just like in marketing, you got an A/B split test. You gotta test it and see its capacity. Right? You gotta warm it up. You gotta warm the engine up, right? You don't want to just go out and go across country with not having warmed the engine up, right? So that's kind of the way I see it, and that's what they're doing. But once they get all the indications in, yep, it can handle this load. Yep, it can handle this load. Yep, it can handle this load. They're going to flip that switch, 2, 3, 5, whatever it might be, don't know. It might be the 30 banks, don't know. Once they flip it, it's going to be tested, and they're going to know that it's going to work. Because they have to know that the liquidity is going to be there when the bank needs to make these transactions. They have to know that it's going to be there. Everyone in place, everyone marching to the same beat. Synchronization, I think, is really the underlying theme for all of this, and so it's coming together in a major way. When I think about the FX market and how they, this LAMX guy, and I haven't watched the interview, but the fact that they got all the major banks kind of on their network, we're talking about the top ones on there, providing liquidity is going to be major. It's 100% going to be major. And there's talks behind doors to let the big players know about the big picture, right? So the big players are discussing amongst themselves the bigger picture. That's how it works. That's just how the world works. And what you and I are looking to do is to level up our game, our position, to eventually become one of those players, if that's something that you're looking to do, right? But just know that you hold the greatest digital asset ever created, and the world that doesn't own any is envious of you, because you hold it. You hold it. And that's huge. You and I, we hold it. And that is huge. So, love for crypto, you can kind of do what he says. He always like to say, if you got paid, don't delay. Go get that XRP today, right? That's love for crypto. That's Scott's thing, right? So, yeah, we're blessed, guys. 100% blessed. So I hope this, again, go check out the video from Ripple YouTube channel. Go listen to Mickey B. Fresh and Brad Kimes. You'll get excited about what you hold. But more importantly than that, you'll level up your XRP IQ so that you can know that you know. That's important. And so that you can strengthen your resolve until this thing pops, right? That's the key. Level up your XRP IQ so that you can educate and better educate other people around you, but more importantly, so that you can strengthen your resolve through this challenging 30-cent time. So important, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I definitely appreciate that. Never ever forget this, guys. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. Old money would rather us remain, a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. The battle for you has already been fought. And the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.